Welcome back, my friend. And in today's skills video, I'm going to be talking about selecting the perfect open house. It's no secret that they're not all created equal. And for any of my agents that have been doing this a while, you've had the negative experience of sitting in a dead open house. So the goal of today's video is going to be talking about, first of all, why the open house is such a powerhouse for agents getting started and agents looking to gain momentum. And also, what we do as a team to filter out the actual opportunities when looking for an open house. Let's jump in. All right. So, why do open houses as an agent? The number one reason that I started my career as an open house host is you do not need your own listings. That's a superpower, guys. Every single week, I know I have a marketing opportunity and I do not have to have my own listing. When you think about the business that way, open houses become the perfect channel for an agent getting started and the perfect channel for an agent looking to gain some momentum, because it does not matter whether or not you have a house to list for sale. You get to act like you do by hosting an event at somebody else's listing. Second point is it gives you a focal point for the week. That's the target I set on Saturday, which guides all of my activities through the week towards the weekend. By setting that target, I now know exactly what I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to make sure I succeed as a real estate agent this week, next week, and the week that follows. And then the third point as to why real estate agents should be doing open houses is multiple lead sources. When I do an open house, I market to my existing database through direct calls with active buyers and sellers, through passive marketing, through my email campaign. I do a walkthrough video that ends up on YouTube. So I'm building out my social media presence there. That also translates over into all other social media channels that you are active on. I'm going to door knock around the listing to find active buyers and sellers, and then I'm going to host the event on Saturday. That's just a handful of lead generation opportunities you have while focusing on the open house as an activity. And that's a very strong angle, guys. If one area of your business dries up, the other one can save you from that. So as you're looking at this, when you get to the end of the week and nobody's at your open house, all the work you've done that week to market the open house could make up for the fact that you can't always control traffic at the door, but you can absolutely control the activities that you put into it. Now, with all of that said, it's extremely important that you pick the right open house for your marketing opportunity. Let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. First and foremost, pick a location that you want to work in. I've seen agents drive clear across town because they thought that the price point in a neighborhood was better than working locally. I can see that, but think about this for a minute. You want to pick an area that you want to work in. Perfect for you and perfect for me could be completely different. And there's just not some best market in your area to work in. There's the one that you're excited about learning. There's the one that's accessible to you as an agent. There's the one you already know a lot about. So while you're thinking about where you're going to work, the location is very important and very specific to you. But once you have that area, you say, hey, it can be I'm working in Boise, or I'm working in Meridian, or I'm working in Austin, Texas, wherever you are in the country. It could be as macro as a city or as micro as a neighborhood. And sometimes I'll do both. I'll start very micro and then I'll come out to find an opportunity if there's nothing down in the neighborhood I want to be working with. But location is where we get started. The second thing I'm looking at, let's say I find a house in the neighborhood or the city that I'm excited about working in. Now I'm going to look at time on market. If a listing has been on market for more than 3 weeks, I'm not touching it, because that is the most amount of foot traffic a listing is going to see is within the first 3 weeks of being listed. As you run this program, guys, you're going to become the go-to agent, and agents will be calling you to say, hey, I've got a listing coming up this weekend. Can you host it as an open house host on Saturday? And you're going to be front and center to listings as they come live. That's what you want, guys. You don't want to be sitting in some 35-day-old listing that nobody's interested in. So metric is 3 weeks or less on market unless there has been a $25,000 or more price reduction within the last week. So that's the only instance in which I'll take another look at it. And it really depends on price point. If I'm in the million plus space, it's got to be 50 to 100K reduction. If I'm down there in the 500 to $400,000 space, 25K usually is enough to bring a new wave of buyers. So time on market, don't take listings that are 3 weeks old or older, or don't take listings older than 3 weeks. Price is 80% of marketing, guys. The only reason it's not at the top of the list because price is specific to location. And if a house has been on market for 3 weeks or more, you already know the price is going to need to correct, and they probably got it wrong. So it helps me filter price by focusing on days on market first. But knowing that price is 80% of marketing, I need to know my median home value in the area I want to work. So I've picked my location. Now I have an understanding of what median home value is there because I've done the research. And that's the next measure that I'm going to be looking at the market with. 10% above or below median home value, no wider than that. If I know that area, I can use that price metric to pick a location for that matter. I say, hey, I know median home value across the whole valley here in the Treasure Valley in Idaho is about $500,000. I want houses below 500 if I'm going to be going after foot traffic. But it can get very micro, like a neighborhood could command $1 million price point in a larger market that has a median value of about 500. So knowing your area and then your price around that area helps you make smart decisions about whether or not you should take a listing, because if median value in your neighborhood is 500 and you can get a 480 listing, you're going to have a listing with more foot traffic. But I have made the decision at times to take that 510 listing because it looked very good on paper and made a very compelling video walkthrough and was better for my passive marketing campaign, expecting a little less foot traffic. So as we do a holistic marketing approach, it's not just about having people show up on the weekend, although I would argue that is probably the best opportunity and often hard to control. So we've got our location. We know it's not an old listing and we love the price. Fourth point is visibility. So visibility means things like it's got amenities other homes don't have. Maybe it's an RV garage or a swimming pool or proximity to a park or a school that's desirable in your area. So visibility can have a price component too, which is it's the best price home in the neighborhood considering its amenities. It's not necessarily the cheapest home, but it has these standout features that make it very visible in the neighborhood. If you were going to be bringing a buyer into that neighborhood, you would see this house and say, that looks like an opportunity. That's the visibility piece. Again, it's hard to put a scientific metric on it. Only when you see a neighborhood and that listing stands out because of X, Y, or Z, that's the visibility superpower. I'm looking for that because that is a foot traffic driving metric, and I want to get that in my listing where I can. And then condition. All right, condition can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but the home needs to be in good condition. And it doesn't make a ton of sense, at least where I am, to sit in properties that need visible upgrades, because it often builds a buyer's list of investors and or flippers, which for some of you is the perfect customer, for some of you is not. I'm not saying stay away from them. I just want you to understand your strategy around condition. Because if I find a house in the perfect location with the right number of days on market, the price is perfect, but the condition is off, I have to look back at that price and say, is that actually a well-priced home? And if you feel like it's visible because of its price against its condition, it might be the perfect house for you. But when somebody walks into a house and it's a cat pee smell, or there's a visible work that needs to be done, and it doesn't seem like the listing has taken that into their price point, you may consider avoiding that listing. So I hope that was helpful, guys. No matter where you are in the country, you should have access to the MLS. The MLS can filter based on all of this criteria and should also be a resource for you as you're looking for median home value in the area that you want to work. But to summarize here, the open house is a wild opportunity because you don't need your own listing. It gives you a focal point for the week, and it's a multiple lead source opportunity, which is huge in our business. And then because it's such an important opportunity, I don't want to just take the open houses that are handed to me. When somebody says, "Hey, I've got this open house, would you like to host it?" I take a long look at that open house through the criteria I've listed here, which is location, time on market, price, visibility, and condition. And I, at the peak of my career, was saying no to about 5 open houses a week in order to pick the right one. And we're not waiting for people to show up at these open houses. We are actively reaching out to the agent to get the open house opportunity. And I will include a script video around that script because we're prospecting for an open house, guys, which means we're going out to get the open house that met our criteria. And it's a good look as a real estate agent. I'll talk about that more in today's script video. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to the team. We're here for exactly that.